right. Okay. Hold on. Oh no. What's up, everybody? How you doing? What's up? What's up? Hold on. Oh, fuck me. I purposely try to get everything set up ahead of time so when there's my notification. So that when I go live, I can be ready to do this. Here we go. There we go. Here it is. Okay. What's up, everybody? Yeah, don't worry. We got a mod now. We have a mod. Don't worry. We also have chat slow mode on, so we're going to manage this a little better. All right, let me see if it's gone live over here. Actually, you know what? I did get my own notification. Yep. Sorry, guys. Chat is going to be in slow mode today. I can change the speed between it, though. I'll let it be 30 seconds between messages. Is that me talking? Oh. The fun thing about me going live is you get to see all the flubs and stuff when I first begin. All right. Well, now we have an added bonus to talk about here. Also, there were super chats donated earlier today that we will be getting to. Do not worry. Do not fear, my wonderful friends. We will get to that soon. However, we have a new thing to talk about now. So, as you guys know, earlier my stream, I had to stop it abruptly because I like to call it the cope crash. What happened was so many delusional, retarded, sad, lonely virgins decided to raid my chat out of nowhere, and me being the dumbass that I am, I didn't have proper moderation settings set up. So it became like a disaster and was overrunning everything. So yeah, that's why the stream stopped abruptly. I just thought it would be good for y'all to know what was the low T thing. Yeah, I don't know. There were people that were just like flooding the chat, saying stuff like low T, soy boy, you know, all the typical stuff. All the stuff people say when they don't have arguments. It's really depressing. All right, come on. Where's my chat? Where's my chatty boy? I should see it coming up here on my screen. Can't wait to listen to the spiciness. Well, that's pretty much all it was. The cope crash. MAGA people, they were coping so hard, they essentially forced me to close my stream down so I could get the proper moderation settings all set up. So now we have a few mods here. I have the chat adjusted and everything. But yeah, it just goes to show the kind of arguments these people have, that with like their guy lost and they're so sad about their little like cult leader losing. They decide to, I don't know, raid my chat. This is like that's a whole new level of desperation, right? Like, you guys are done raiding the fucking Capitol, so now what? You come to raid my little YouTube chat? Don't you guys have better stuff to do? Is that really what it looks like? Saving the white Aryan race? The superior Aryan race? Is that what it looks like? Because if you ask me, that sounds like a fucking bitch move right there. Was this an attempted coup? It was an attempted coup on my chat. Yes. It was the plan. Their attempt was to overthrow our glorious YouTube stream where we get to mine some cope. But instead of that, like, they actually gave us some. They gave us some cope to just enjoy. Now, is this the clip that I'm looking for here? Yes, it is. All right. Now, we have a lot to talk about. I'm kind of going to just start over with what we were going over yesterday, just because, not yesterday, sorry, earlier today. Just because, you know, it got so distracting, everything sort of, like the cope crash, you know, we've been over it. Also, just so everybody knows, later, Carissa will be joining us to talk about, some of the comparisons between what happened yesterday to BLM, protests and rioting and such. So it's going to be interesting. I know we had a pretty, what was it? Hold on. We had a question earlier. Oh yeah, do you think Trump should have the 25th used against him? Carissa's going to come in and hopefully explain that a little bit better also. Just because, like I said last time, I'm not the best at articulating, like the workings of our government and everything. Oh, wow, I'm really dumb. I figured out why my chat wasn't working. Because I had it turned off. No, I'm looking like a boomer right now. I'm kidding. There we go. There it is. There you all are. I guess I gotta make it even smaller. I wish it didn't look like this. Okay, that works. That looks kind of cool, actually. So, okay, let's go over what happened, okay? A brief rundown. The MAGAtards have been jumping through every hoop imaginable in order to somehow justify their insane cope. That's literally all this comes down to, okay? First it was, well, there was voter fraud. And then it was, well, the media doesn't decide the winner of the election. The courts do. And then all the courts rejected Trump's bullshit lawsuits about election fraud, and they were unable to prove anything in court. And so, yeah, that was all fucking thrown out. And then all of a sudden it was, well, it's not really over until the Electoral College votes on December 14th. And then the Electoral College came, and they voted for Biden. It was a very smooth and easy process. That was it. And then, again, we came to this. We came to what happened yesterday. It was the Hail Mary in the Super Cope. Like, it was their final attempt, the dying gasp of a dying cult, I guess. They were like, yeah, actually, it's January 6th. Liberals don't know about January 6th, when Congress is going to certify the electoral votes, and then everything's going to magically change, and Donald Trump will actually be sworn in as our next dictator. I mean, second president. Like, that's literally what that was all it was. And all along, I knew exactly how this was going to fucking be. I knew exactly what was going to happen. I mean, no, I didn't. I'm sorry. Let me clarify that a little better. No, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen as far as yesterday went. However, I knew that Congress was going to certify the electoral votes, and that would be that. I literally made a bet on it. I told him on my stream with Carlin, I said that I will literally cut out my left testicle if Donald Trump somehow wins and is able to also, like, prove voter fraud and shit. This has not happened. It's not going to happen. So anyway, January 6th, all the MAGAtards planned this big rally, a gigantic, huge super spreader event where they were going to, well, besides spread COVID, probably spread other diseases also. Just I was thinking that, like, you'd think they were probably spreading other diseases as well, considering how many of those idiots are anti-vax as well. Like, I'm sure, like, if someone didn't get COVID, they're getting something else. I'm not too brushed up on every disease. I mean, polio is not okay, no, that wouldn't. Okay. Getting off subject here. But no, they went to this, they scheduled this rally so that they could cheer for Donald Trump. It was their big Donald Trump circle jerk. Ooh, they were going to let Big Daddy Papa Trump know how much they loved him and how he was actually the true president of the United States. Literally, it's just the Cope rally. And I know I've said Cope now like 80 times. And if you were taking shots for every time I said Cope, you'd probably be dead. But like, that's because there is such an insane amount of Cope. What's a better word to use? Snowflakes? I find that one pretty funny, but hold up. I just got an update. Capitol Police Chief has resigned. Hold up. We're going to go through like a rundown and everything too, but I also want to give you guys updates as they come. No one's going to like it if I look at CNN. All right. PBS NewsHour. This will work. Head of Capitol Police Union calls for chief to resign? Wait. Resigning. Okay. The announcement comes just after the head of the department's union called for a change at the top. Capitol Police Chief resigning amid criticism over pro-Trump mob. You can see where my head's at. U.S. Capitol Police Stephen Sund is resigning amid criticism. Amid the department's response to rioters who stormed the Capitol in protest of Donald Trump's election loss. This is really telling also, like, for the people that, you know, when you see all this shit go down, it's like when the left was throwing their tantrum when Donald Trump won in 2016, it was like crying, screaming at the sky, Trigglypuff, acting like crybabies. Haha, how funny. And now, like, this is what it looks like when conservatives are throwing a tantrum. And not all conservatives, but when the MAGA cult specifically throws a tantrum. This is what happens. They try to stage a fucking coup. They try to overthrow the government. I'm sorry, but if I have to choose between the two, I would rather have Trigglypuff screaming at the sky about cis white men being evil or something than I would ever have this bullshit. But anywho, it's interesting that he's resigned, and it's not surprising either. Let's see let's find the statement here. Hold on. Sund's resignation will go into effect on January 16th, just a few days shy of President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. The announcement comes shortly after the head of the department union called for the change at the top. Officers are frustrated and demoralized with how a lack of leadership undermined the response to the mob, according to the statement. Damn, I mean, this was one of the huge problems with what happened yesterday to begin with, which was how poor the police response was. And we've already seen multiple lawmakers, even like Republicans. I think Mitch McConnell weighed in on this too, the huge flaming pile of shit that no one gives a fuck about. But anywho, yeah, like all these lawmakers are weighing in, and now they're saying that they are going to be investigating and looking into why the police response was so bad. Huh. Let's see. We prioritize lives over property, leading people to safety, this statement said. Not one member of Congress or their staff was injured. Our officers did their jobs. Our leadership did not. All right. Our law enforcement partners that assisted us were remarkable. The statement fell just short of calling for the force chief Stephen Sund to resign. Sund commended officers earlier Thursday, calling their actions heroic, and slammed the chaos that erupted. Capitol Police response has been criticized for its inability to keep the rioters out of the building. Yeah, which is, I mean, that was so weird too. Like the fact these people were even able to get in. We're going to look at footage in just a second too. Biden earlier Thursday criticized what he described as a double standard between how police reacted to the pro-Trump mob versus how they treat supporters of Black Lives Matter over the summer. And we are going to talk a little bit more about that when Carissa joins us later. But I want us to also get onto the general timeline of what happened. And then, of course, more updates will come as we go through this. So I think it's really important that, I mean, we already see now this police chief resigning because it was a problem with the leadership, with the people at the top level. And I would go, I mean, that's very, trying to think how I want to word this. I think that is, yeah, no, I'm going to just ditch that whole police thing, whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's it's very telling, though, that the police have that the chief of police has resigned. Absolutely. However, it's deeper than that. And it's the fact that Trump is directly responsible for what happened yesterday. He absolutely is. And I know there's going to be Trump supporters, probably even in my chat, who are still they're just part of the circle jerk of the Donald Trump circle jerk, who are going to say, oh, well, it was the left. I literally saw, what did I see? People say stuff like, well, it was actually the left constantly calling people racist that got them mad. No, shut the fuck up. All right? No, that's not what it was. What happened was that Donald Trump continuously emboldened these people. Donald Trump continuously spread lies about election fraud, lies that were like so easy to disprove at that, but it wasn't about election fraud. It really wasn't about that. It was just about getting Donald Trump's cult members, essentially, to continue to deny reality. I mean, we have MAGA people now pretty much just believing that Donald Trump is a victim of reality. Like, that's really what this comes down to. They'll say it's voter fraud because that's the narrative right now. But really all they give a fuck about is getting Donald Trump in power and keeping him there. That's all they actually give a fuck about. They're just using election fraud because that's the thing right now. Because that's what everyone's saying. Because they're kind of regurgitating what Big Daddy Trump is telling them to say. But it was indicative, too, by like how these radicals behaved at the Capitol yesterday. These people don't give a fuck about democracy. They like, what was the whole narrative? Oh, we just care about a fair election. We just want there to be every legal vote. These people don't give a fuck about legality or even law and order, which was Donald Trump's bullshit narrative or his motto or whatever. These people care about getting Donald Trump in power and keeping him there. That's it. And Donald Trump emboldened these people, like I said, with his constant election fraud lies. And even his rhetoric before the Capitol riots happened. Let's pull this up here on screen. Before the riots even went down, Donald Trump was saying, we're going to have to fight much harder. Trump told supporters at a rally near the White House before the assault, adding, we are going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators, congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them because you will never take back our country with weakness. Now, Donald Trump is really good at doing this kind of shit where he won't totally say it, but then he won't totally not say it. So it's always right there in the middle, right? So that way all the people who like Trump can interpret it the most charitable way imaginable. That way all the people who like Trump can say, okay, well, I mean, yeah, he's just, all he was saying is he wants to cheer on our brave senators and that maybe some of them we won't like, but I mean, yeah. But then he also says, you'll never take back our country with weakness. What do you think that sounds like? We're going to have to fight much harder. We're going to go down to the Capitol. Like, there are ways that you could also interpret this as being insightful or at minimum on the border. And that's, again, what Donald Trump is such an expert at doing. It's so fucking annoying because he'll never really commit to it. It's just enough for him to like, just, he gives himself enough plausible deniability, but then for the radicals, they can take what they need to hear from that, and then that's their incitement. I don't know if it's Donald Trump is just like a mastermind at like communicating. No, it's just that he's stupid and that people are just, they take him so seriously, as we've seen. I mean, this is what happened yesterday was just beyond it really was like a historical thing that happened yesterday in our country. Many in the massive crowd soaked in the falsehoods and conspiracy theories about the election that Trump has been spewing for months didn't even wait for the president to finish speaking. They began a march on the Capitol where they would break through police barricades, rip through the chambers of Congress, and vandalize the core symbol of the federal government. I have a clip here too.
Let's go! Fuck this shit! We tell you dude, you back the fuck off! You back off! Move! Move! That's our house! We pay your bills. We pay for this mess we put up for some bullshit.
So, yeah. Just try to imagine if like this was BLM or Antifa or anything, and it's about to get way worse. Like the conservative conniption would be they would be having like the biggest meltdown of the century. Maybe even bigger than this meltdown right here.
Hold my back. Hold my backpack. Hold my backpack. Fuck, I can't. Hold on. I can't get around.
Listen to the irony of this. Listen to the irony of chanting USA while trying to fucking break into the Capitol. It's so, like, these people are so delusional, they believe themselves to be, like, these patriots who love America. You don't love America, you love Donald Trump, and the fact that you're able to disregard everything that America stands for the moment Donald Trump tells you to is fucking eye-opening. Like, that should tell you so much that you need to know. USA. No, what? You're not honoring the country right now. Look at this shit. Man, there are a really small amount of cops right here. One goes to help him, one goes to attack him. Nate8 says they are true patriots. You don't know what the fuck a patriot is, pal. And the fact that you think this is what patriotism looks like, it just, there's not really a response for you. Just the fact that you believe that tells me everything I need to know about you. Now, this is kind of what started it, right? This was the initial push through, and then from there, it obviously continued to escalate, as we all saw from the other footage that was circulating yesterday, especially. But the fact that they went to this extent, the fact that they, let's get some more footage up here. Video shows protesters unattended in Capitol building. Okay. Look at that, dude. That's not a protest. They're breaking the fucking glass of the Capitol. Are these what triggered snowflakes look like on the right? Is this what it means to be a triggered snowflake on the right? Hanging out with, what, like a bunch of rednecks? Duck Dynasty? Raiding the Capitol because you're mad that your guy didn't win the election? What a bunch of pussies. Man. Look at this shit. Hey, leave it. So I cannot stress this enough. This isn't me being hyperbolic here or anything. This really was an attempted coup. This absolutely was. That's what this is. And we're going to get into that very shortly here. Whoa. Look at these people. What's going on over there? Damn, just a little more footage. Shit. Yeah, I mean, this is... It's just so... it's like upsetting, but at the same time, I cannot stress enough how this was emboldened by Donald Trump's rhetoric specifically. Donald Trump's continued lies and conspiracies that he peddled about election fraud seeped these people into this mess. Like, I think that it's so funny, I guess. Funny isn't really the word, but for lack of a better one, yeah, it's funny that the conservative motto is literally the conservative motto is literally take personal responsibility, right? Every time a black person is killed by cops, it always comes down to like these people with take personal responsibility. Why didn't you take personal responsibility? Yet Donald Trump has taken no personal responsibility his entire fucking presidency. And the fact that right now, like, this is the one time that Trump actually had a chance to take personal responsibility, he didn't. And I want to be honest that, like, some of the people, I like, they were insane and violent crazies, yeah, but also some of these people, I mean, I know a girl died. I feel genuinely bad for these people to a degree. Like, they are so seeped in their own conspiracies. They're constantly being lied to by Donald Trump. They're constantly being lied to. Like, you have to understand the way, the relationship these people have with Donald Trump. It's try to put yourself in the mindset. It's like a fucking cult. It really is. Like, the whole time Donald Trump has basically been working, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but it's what happened. Donald Trump has been working to essentially separate everyone else from himself so that he is the only one that now the Trump supporters will listen to. They don't even like Pence. Now Pence is part of the deep state. A little while back it was AG Barr is part of the deep state. Like, if they don't get the answer they want, then Donald Trump will just say that they're against me, so that eventually it comes down to the only person that's ever telling the truth is Donald Trump. So first, put yourself in that mindset. Realize how fucking cultish that is, right? And now try to realize the fact that this person who they believe now, almost like a religion, to be the arbiter of truth, essentially, they're being told that this is a stolen election. They're being told that there was voter fraud. They're being told that our country's being taken from you. They're being told that this is a terrible thing and that they'll take all this away from you. They're being told from Donald Trump that we need to march to the Capitol. Weakness. We can't have weakness if we're gonna, what did he say? I don't actually remember the direct quote, but whatever. If we're gonna take this country back, we can't have weakness. Like, these ideas came from Donald Trump. And I think there are some people who I don't really feel very bad for, to be honest, because they're people who, like, they just used Donald Trump to further their own hatred. So they were already bad. But I mean, I believe they can change as well, but like, they kind of just use Trump as a front to further their own dumbass bigoted ideas. But some of these people, Trump radicalized them. Like, I really do. My heart goes out to a good many of these people because they really are victims of a cult. It's almost like, you know how they're like those cults where they'll like commit mass suicide or whatever. Like, this is like the modern day version of that. This is the political version of that. And I just think that, like, Donald Trump should take some responsibility for this, but he's not going to. His entire presidency has been about him blaming everything and everyone for his own failures. He'll never take personal responsibility. It's the conservative motto. But suddenly, taking personal responsibility doesn't matter so much when it's Donald Trump. And that's because all this shit, all this rhetoric we've been hearing about a fair and legal election or taking personal responsibility or whatever, all of that goes out the window for Trump. Like, these aren't principled conservatives. These are people who are willing to die for Donald Trump. It's fucking insane. And I cannot express to you how happy I am that I got out of the MAGA cult. And although I like to believe that I would never have gotten to this point regardless, but either way, I am very thankful that I got out of that MAGA cult. But I also do, and I tweeted about this earlier, I also recognize that, I played a role in radicalizing some of the people that may have even been at that fucking rally. Now, I'm not saying I'm directly responsible for it or not or anything, but like I think whenever something like this happens, I like to reflect and realize that, this is why it's so important that I continue to be transparent about what happened and also continue to denounce my old bullshit beliefs. So it's really telling when we see the violent attack, like the violent manifestation of what were once just internet memes. 4 more years, Trump 2020, whatever. Like, that was taken to the streets. And people were literally shouting 4 more years or whatever while they were breaking into the Capitol building. Fuck, man, you sound like a head of a cult who is trying to brainwash people now. What are you talking about? Bro. Okay. Maybe that just means that my arguments are kind of compelling you right now, and you think that it means that I am doing some kind of voodoo on you or some shit. What are you fucking talking about, dude? But yeah, I think it's important that I stress this is Donald Trump's fault. Like, Donald Trump is directly responsible for this. And I'm not the only one saying this either. There are other Republican lawmakers and people who would consider themselves to be on the right who are saying this as well. Rightfully so. So I was looking into this earlier on would what happened yesterday constitute as a coup? And I found this article from PolitiFact, and it was really, it really did come across pretty unbiased in my opinion. It doesn't even really conclude that it was a coup. It just more gives you the information so that we can kind of decide for ourselves. So I like that. But I also want to clarify, like, there are some things, and this is coming from this article here, there are some things that Trump have been called a coup that are just wrong. Some things Trump has done since November to contest the election are clearly within the law. Other actions of his up until January 6th were close calls. A coup is shorthand for coup, whatever, French term that means the overthrow of the government. The key element of a coup is that it's carried out beyond the bounds of legality. Coups can be violent, but don't need to be. So there's a good case to be made that the storming of the Capitol qualifies as a coup. It's especially so because the rioters entered at precisely the moment when the incumbent's loss was to be formally sealed, and they succeeded in stopping the count. That's really important also. Their goal was to get in there and delay this process, and they did succeed in that. So it kind of goes over the different types of coups. Let's see here. All right, I want to look into this part, the storming of the Capitol. They talk about some of these other things, too, when Trump's actions to overturn the elections were a coup. They talk about, I think it was Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer, one of those dimwits, saying that something Trump was doing was, right here, endorsement of an attempted coup. Chuck Schumer said that, and he was incorrect to call Trump's attempt to, like, I guess, overturn the election a coup at that point. It may be harder to argue that the effort in Congress amounts to a coup. The law governing the counting allows for objections to be registered, debated, and if the chambers vote them down, dispensed with. So this is part of the law, right? But what these people did yesterday was outside of the law, and it was specifically because they were angry at the result they got from the legal system and the legal proceedings. The actions of some protesters at the U.S. Capitol, however, were clearly outside the law, especially the people who were able to reach the floor of the House and the Senate lawmakers' personal offices. So, there are rebel coups. It requires an organized, militarized group that is actively contesting government forces, though militarized may be too generous a description of the disorganized groups that entered the Capitol. Another category is dissident actions, which involves small groups of through the tens of. Let's see. There was one that I thought it qualified for a little more. It's the lines are a little bit blurred. There's no disputing that. Which involves small groups of dissidents through the tens of thousands of protesters. More numerous than this category envisions. Popular revolts, irregular regime changes that are driven. This doesn't sound right. No. A sizable number of citizens were urged by the president to move on the seat of legislative power at precisely the moment when the incumbent's loss was to be formally sealed. The group proceeded to break the laws by entering the building, causing damage inside, and forcing the electoral vote count process to halt. So they're saying it fits the definition of sudden and irregular. What is this one for? Did they give me like a better, more clear-cut one here? It was sudden, laws were broken, and the official function of the government were displaced. For this to apply, one has to envision President-elect Joe Biden as the executive authority rather than Trump, the incumbent but lame-duck president. Yeah, it kind of sounds like it's like sort of bleeds into multiple definitions here. It wasn't really as organized as I think a lot of people picture coups. And also, like, I mean, even if you look at historically, failed coups, they always look really ridiculous, but that doesn't mean this wasn't a coup, because it really was. Because they entered at precisely the moment when the incumbent's loss was to be formally sealed. And also, they were trying to overthrow the legal government proceedings in order to put the person that they want as their leader and to keep him there regardless of what the law says. So, I mean, it's just, yeah, it qualifies as a coup. Although the definition isn't that clear-cut. Hunter became an NPC, Orange Man bad. Dude, are you fucking kidding me? I've been a Trump supporter up until, like, last year. Okay? I recognize reality now. And I'm not just saying Orange Man bad. I'm being very charitable. When did Hunter become such a pussy? When did you start getting triggered by facts? And then, after, like, when all this shit was going down,
Pain.
Donald Trump issued the worst response. The most miserable, dismal response he possibly could have made. And we're going to go over that now. Seeing the idiots in the chat are truly unbelievable. Yeah, it really is. People are really triggered by facts. It's really weird. Blue sashimi. Hunter doesn't support cults. Wow, woke much? True. SJW liberal? Wait, you mean you... Wait, Hunter doesn't support domestic terrorism and raiding the Capitol building? When you don't like the results of our democracy? What? What a cock beta! Maybe I'm just not an authoritarian pussy like some of you people.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt.
Okay, so let's we're going to break this down, and it's not going to be very hard. I know your pain, I know you're hurt. We're going to talk about this a little more in depth when Carissa comes on, but like, remember when BLM was protesting and also there were riots? And then Donald Trump condemned the entire BLM movement and invalidated everything about BLM because of the minority of violence. Funny how Donald Trump's tune is so radically different. Now he understands the pain. He understands the pain of these people raiding the Capitol, risking the lives of our elected officials. Their pain, he gets it because he filled their head with a bunch of conspiracy theories. But people majority peacefully protesting police brutality that's been empirically proven to disproportionately affect black people, well, they set a target on fire, so fuck them.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it.
No. No, Trump. The only people that think they know it is you and your dumbass cult followers. Everyone else who lives in this reality knows that you didn't win, that the election was not stolen. And if it were, you'd be able to prove it in court.
Especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people.
Listen to that. He's like, okay, guys, I know. Listen, hey, I know that the election was stolen, all right? I know your pain. It's disgusting these scumbag libcucks are able to steal everything you know and love from us. But, let's be peaceful, guys. But really, we might have to be a little more violent, you know? Obviously, he didn't say it that overtly, but it is pretty fucking
Law and order.
obvious.
We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people.
Okay, so here he's doing it again. Exactly. He's doing it exactly. Just like what he said at the beginning of this thing. Now all the Trump supporters can say, well, he said be peaceful and go home. Well, he said that. That's what he said. But the majority of this video has been spent validating the bullshit cause behind these dumb fucks rioting and storming the Capitol. And it's been empathizing with those people as well, which in and of itself is validating them as well. So, yeah, no, it's not just, well, he said be peaceful and he said go home. It's that he's spending the majority of his time here on this clip validating the bullshit beliefs behind the violence.
From our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace.
Hunter, who put you up to be a never Trumper? Is this what it means to be a never Trumper to you people? To criticize the president when he validates violent rioters raiding the Capitol building? Oh my God. Trump just released a new video? Trump released a new video. All right. We're going to have to get to that in just a second. Mods, please ban some people in here. Some of these losers. Hold on. Yeah, okay, for now on, anyone into chat who's saying bullshit stuff that I'm never Trump when that's not even true, you're getting banned. Like, I'm done getting distracted by you dumb fucks in the chat. All right, new video. I assume it's on Twitter. Well, I mean, Donald Trump was locked out of his account, and I guess he's back now. Oh, we're going to hear something about censorship. I know it. This is why we need to remove Section 230. That's what we're going to hear.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack on the United States Capitol. Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem. I immediately deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel the intruders. America is and must always be a nation of law and order. The demonstrators...
Tune is very changed now. See, now he realized, oh, it was bad for PR for me to go up there and validate them. That was maybe a little too clear and obvious. But, you know, let's be a little more professional now. Now that I might lose my Twitter account. Hunter, there's no need to ban him. The Surfs TV raid? Hey, cool. What's up, Surfs? Yeah, we're getting some Twitch followers, too. Very cool.
Who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engage...
Someone else wrote this for him. Just so we're clear.
The acts of violence and destruction. You do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay. We have just been through an intense election.
Oh, could you imagine if you raided the Capitol because you're so hyped up on Donald Trump's bullshit and then you end up getting prosecuted because he realized it was bad for his PR? That's gonna end up happening because Mike Pence has already said that he's gonna prosecute those people also, and the FBI now is looking into it as well. Could you imagine? Donald Trump, I was just trying to save the election integrity, skippity hee haw. Why do you gotta lock me up for 10 years?
We have just been through an intense election and emotions are high.
Yeah.
But now tempers must be cooled and calm restored. We must get on with the business of America. My campaign vigorously pursued every legal avenue to contest the election results. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote. In so doing, I was fighting to defend American democracy. I continue to strongly believe that we must reform our election laws to verify the identity and eligibility of all voters and to ensure faith and confidence in all future elections. Now Congress has certified the results. A new administration.
So this is a very different tune. These are obviously my initial thoughts. When did this come out even? Hold on. 9 minutes ago. Man, you guys are getting breaking news with me now. He's so mad about doing this speech. He's really struggling. I mean, this is this is as close as Trump is going to get to conceding.
American democracy. I continue to strongly believe that we must reform our election laws to verify the identity and eligibility of all voters and to ensure faith and confidence.
I don't want to get into this right now. I don't want to get into the voter ID stuff because I have to do more research on that anyway. Although I know that it's very common for those laws to be used, they're used sometimes with racist intent.
Elections. Now Congress has certified the results. A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now.
Oh man, listen to this. This is Trump conceding. So we're clear. Trump conceded. Trump's conceded, guys. Yo, hey, can we get some conservatives who are mad in the chat? Is Trump now a deep state agent? How? Oh man. I'm sorry. I need to the hopium right now. Can you imagine being a conservative? Oh my God. I'm so glad I got out. I'm so glad. Thank you, God, for saving me. Can you? So, okay, let's go through a little rundown really fast. Okay. It's been over 48 hours now. They lost Georgia. So Republicans no longer have full control of the government. The Democrats took back the Senate. So they lost Georgia. Then they went to their dumb shit rally thing, which failed. And the Capitol storming ended up doing nothing but harm and tarnishing what little shred of decency that some people may have thought some Trump supporters may have still had. Then Congress still goes ahead and certifies the Electoral College vote, which we all of us living here in reality knew this was going to happen. We did. We knew that there'd be coping and crying and whining and all that, but we knew this was going to happen. And so, and finally now, wait, what is this? Yeah. 10 hours later, 12 hours later, now here's Trump conceding. Man, could you imagine if you're going to jail or you're getting investigated by the FBI now because you raided the Capitol building because you believed what this fucking fucker said about election fraud, and now all of a sudden, you're like, wait a minute, now even Trump is saying that he's conceding. Trump can't concede. This isn't what Q told me would happen.
Turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power. This moment calls for healing and reconciliation. 2020 has been a challenging time for our people. A menacing pandemic has upended the lives of our citizens, isolated millions in their homes, damaged our economy, and claimed countless lives. Defeating this pandemic and rebuilding the greatest economy on earth will require all of us working together. It will require...
And now we get this shitty virtue signaling thing at Unity. Donald Trump's whole entire time as president, he has treated Democrats basically like they're not even like fully American. I know Carissa's watching this, so I might get fact checked here, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Donald Trump was even looking into withholding COVID aid from states with like governors that didn't like him or that were more Democrat or something. I mean, like the fact that now he's like, yeah, I know my people just yesterday raided the Capitol because that's how serious they are about me being president and me only. But we should all be working together, people. Come on now. Why don't we hold hands, make some cookies, kiss and make up? Come on. Yeah, there was some election fraud, I guess, and I know your pain, but we all have to unify now. Like, it's all over the place, and this is how it goes for Trump. He says his initial thoughts, which are usually always bad, and then they end up being disastrous for him, and so then he has like a more formal statement where he says it again and more clear and concise after he had a talk with a PR team.
A renewed emphasis on the...
And just really quick, going back to what I said earlier about how Donald Trump is responsible so heavily for what happened yesterday. Like, this is something that Trump never seems to grasp, which is that his actions have consequences. Donald Trump never seemed to grasp as much that, like, I need to make this statement clear and concise, or else radicals can take it and interpret it the way they want to interpret it. You'll notice, and this is not me saying that politicians are like good or anything, because most politicians are pieces of shit, but you'll notice actually that like the more seasoned politicians, when they're condemning something, they're always really clear and concise about that. And that's because they recognize that their words can be misconstrued and that their words could be used to incite if they're not clear about certain things. And I don't even think it's that deep. I just think that they understand a little bit better on like the public speaking side of things. But Donald Trump, he never seemed to grasp that. It's always damage control with him. Like, it's first his initial thoughts, he causes all the fucking problems, and then afterwards, when it's time for damage control, he's like, all right, look, we pursued every legal avenue, we did everything we could, but we have to unify now. Let's all kiss, let's all hug, let's all love. Like,
civic values of patriotism, faith, charity, community, and family. We must revitalize the sacred bonds of love and loyalty that bind us together as one national family. To the citizens of our country, serving as your president has been the honor of my lifetime. And to all of my wonderful supporters, I know you are disappointed, but I also want you to know that our incredible journey is only just beginning. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Okay, well, that was a little bit of a better statement. There's no denying that. Man, wait, how are we getting so many viewers on Twitch right now? What's up, all my lovely Twitchies? Wow, we have 406 viewers on Twitch, which for me, just starting out, that's pretty good. Sadly, there are no trolls. Yeah, I cracked down on moderation. That's why. Someone sent me something actually in the Twitch chat. Liberty Hangout saying Trump is being threatened to make his speech. No! Can I have that link? I would need it in Twitch chat, though, only. Look at Gun Girl Liberty Hangout tweets. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to go there now. Apparently, Liberty Hangout is, like, massive coping right now. All right, here we go. I'm 100% 100% convinced they're threatening Trump and his family. Pray for our president, for our country. It's always that Trump's the victim. Every time. It's like that Trump cannot be wrong in their head. It's so funny to me because for so fucking long we heard nothing about Trump derangement syndrome. Who would have thought that the entire time Trump derangement syndrome looked like this? Deranged in favor of Trump. Like, the delusion of these people makes the original Trump derangement syndrome look like a joke. Enjoy your jail cell. I try not to really take these tweets too seriously because I'm pretty confident that they're just bait. Oh yeah, and shout out to John Miller too. Actually, this guy let the mask slip hardcore on Parler. He said he loved seeing what happened yesterday with them raiding the Capitol. I always knew this guy was a huge piece of shit, and I'm honestly surprised. Again, I say this every time. I'm always so surprised when he has like even is able to get a single sentence out, considering how much alt-right dick he always has in his mouth. But yeah, like he on Parler, just go and take a look at what these people say on Parler, and then you can see what they really think when they don't have to worry about it as strict of a TOS. Because this guy says some really dumb fuck shit on Twitter, but on Parler, he's just openly like, yeah, yep, they suck. And one of them, was it him or was it the Lynn Wood guy? I think it was Lynn Wood, said something about shooting Pence as well. It's like Trump's like throwing, he even threw Pence under the bus. All right, let's see. Let's see, is Caitlin Bennett saying anything? Report the U.S. Capitol Police for murdering a woman in cold blood. This is really funny, too. Caitlin Bennett was literally hardcore making excuses for George Floyd when he was dying. She was saying that because he once had a criminal record, that justified his wrongful killing, or because he once committed armed robbery, that sort of justified his armed robbery, or sorry, his unjustified killing. And now she's up here where we have very limited information with what happened to this girl, and I want there to be an investigation into that as well. I don't like to speak too quickly in any of these instances. With George Floyd, I waited a few days to even give my thoughts on it, and with Breonna Taylor, I literally waited months for everything to play out. So it's just so fucking ironic, because what we do know is that this woman was with the Trump mob, that I believe they were raiding they were trying to break onto the House floor. And again, this is very limited information. I'm sure it's going to change. This is only what I read from earlier today. But apparently she jumped up on a ledge or something, or I think they were starting to charge in and she leapt up. And to me, what it sounded like was that she may have made herself out to look a little bit more like a threat than, even if she wasn't a threat, like it may have come across like she was a threat. Now, I want to wait to see what really went down, to see if her shooting was justified. Because I've even said this before with there are times where police need to use lethal force, and especially when you're in the Capitol building. I feel like that's like, you're in the Capitol building. That's where they're so fucking strict. So I don't know. I just think that we need to wait and find out what happened. But it's just really funny that she's up here LARPing on and on and on about the fact that this woman was killed, which is really sad. But then she'll try to justify complete and total provable acts of injustice towards people of color. So I don't know. It's just a little bit of... I'm just destroying this guy on Twitter, posting Parler screenshots as proof. Yeah, that's pretty easy to do. Actually, I went and trolled Parler earlier today. All right, let's see. I know there's some other stuff I got to go over here. We do have some donations. Why don't we go ahead and look over those right now really quickly? And thank you guys to all of you loyal Twitch viewers and followers now. Pretty based. Apparently, I had a positive raid for once, so that's pretty nice. I think this is one of our good friends, the Surfs. So thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate my Twitch gang and my YouTube gang. All right, hold on. Where's my live dashboard thing? Remember last time I made a New Year's resolution to not have 50 tabs open? I've already broken that one. Here we go. All right, let's see. We are going to make these quick. JD Creeper, how to apply for mod. Thank you for the $2. Shoot me an email. Mr. Drowse, thank you for the $5. Took a nap, woke up to a year-old video being age restricted, and you streaming. Great day. Yeah, that always sucks when that happens. Oh, that's so annoying. Showtime 987, thank you for the $2. Hey, hope all is well. I also happily left the right. What's up? Welcome to the right side of history. I'm kidding. But glad to hear that you left the right. Get out while you still can, my friend. Marco, thank you for the $3. Why did Parler become an alt-right haven? Simple, because they don't have as strict of a TOS. It happens anytime a platform doesn't have a strict or a bit of a stricter TOS. Let's say that. JD Creeper, thank you for the $5. I don't think the Capitol Raiders should be killed unless absolutely necessary, but I'd love to see Kyle Rittenhouse supporters' reaction. Yeah, I think it's tragic that this woman was shot. I just want to wait and find out what happened before we jump to conclusions, before we say that it was either unjustified or what happened. Like, you can see what happened with George Floyd and look into it, and it wasn't a justified killing. I saw the video. Well, then you know what? If any of you have, she just went right into a kill zone. I don't know. I want to look into it more, and that's why I'm not really making any like statements about it. I just don't like it's tragic that she died, and it's also really tragic that she was fueled by these conspiracy theories and that they kind of brought her to this terrible end. Rusty Potato, thank you for the 5. Apparently because of yesterday's Cope rally at the Republicans that objected to Biden's win stopped basically allowing a Biden win. Yeah, it was really funny because the dumb fucks that raided the Capitol, they shot themselves in the foot because then all of a sudden after all this shit happened, they're like, people that were earlierly. Am I okay right now? Am I doing all right? Do I need to have a heart-to-heart with myself? No, it's just funny that, like, they realized it would be a PR nightmare. You know, they probably realized, oh, shit. I'm going to be like, oh, no. Right after all this shit went down at the Capitol, now I'm still saying there's voting fraud? Voter fraud? Rusty and Potato, thank you for the 2. I'm lucky I live in Ireland. Honestly, you kind of are. I love everyone. Thanks for the $5. I've never hated... Okay. Is this a joke? I'm sorry. Shout out to your username being I love everyone, and your message is literally, I've never hated so many of my fellow Americans as I do today. I'm in DC. I've seen a lot, and I just hate anyone who comes to protest now. Well, you know, let's try not to. You don't want to have any of your beliefs fueled by hate. Rusty thank you for the $5. Trump is 74. 74 plus 2020 election equals 2094 minus 17 because 17-year-old teenagers equals 2077. That means Trump made Cyberpunk 20. Oh, wow. Now there's a conspiracy that we can maybe get behind. JD Creeper, thank you for the $2. If the cops shot those guys, it would be self-defense. I'm not sure which guys you're talking about. Tristan McCoy, thank you for the $10. Right-wingers are delusional to the point of thinking there are no violent right-wingers. Look at Tim Pool's comment section and see how much they talk about killing leftists and going to war. Oh, yeah, not even that, but there have been, like, Department of Homeland Security reports constantly showing the threat of right-wing domestic terrorism. I think we're going to have Carissa on here soon. Carissa, I see you in the chat. Let me know if you are ready to join after I'm done with donations. Rusty, thank you for the 2. Only one of my American cousins supports Trump. Well, tell him to stop it. Nathan, thank you for the 5. Hard to believe this is the party of Lincoln. I'm sure he would give 2 thumbs up to what happened yesterday if he was alive today. Are you being sarcastic? Or do you mean 2 thumbs down? sure we give 2 thumbs up to what happened yesterday. JD Creeper, thank you for the 2. My grandma recently left the cult because of this. Good. Gulf City Nicholas, thank you for the 2. I've got no faith in Biden. Working class is toast. Yeah, there's very good. It's absolutely possible, but like, at least Biden will prolong the inevitable. And so maybe there's hope that something can change, right? Instead of Trump, who is just spiraling us down into the deadly abyss. Sync with NorCal, thank you for the 10. Hi Hunter, came here from Vosh's community as a Euro history major in uni. I'd say if the Bear Hall Punch was considering a coup attempt, so is this. Yeah, well, hey, thank you for the support. Glad to see it. And yeah, I mean, you can look at other. I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not too familiar with my coup history. But yeah, I know that if you look at like other coup attempts, they usually look pretty silly. But that doesn't mean they're not a coup. DJ Smith, thank you for the 10. A cult keeps its power using information control. All news/research is fake news, thought control. The other side is pure evil, emotional control, fear-mongering, and behavior control. I think the left does this too, 100%. But I think that, at least right now, it's far, far worse on the right. So yeah, I would agree. Animade, thank you for the $15 donation. Wow, thank you. I'm a Trump supporter, and I agree Trump should have done a better job with the first video. Yesterday was so wrong. Also, been a fan for 3 years. Agree or disagree? I still love your opinion. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate the donation, and I also, I'm glad to see that I still have some people who used to be fans, and even, I guess, people who are Trump supporters who still choose to watch me. I would be curious to know if you still support Trump after what happened yesterday, though. Chris, thank you for the 5. Greetings from the UK. Keep going. Well, thank you so much for the encouragement. Appreciate it. And that concludes our donations so far. What happened here? Let's see. Yeah, so after Trump did the first video, he was locked out of his Twitter account for like 12 hours. And he was also forced to remove the video and a few other tweets that were kind of validating the violence and everything. And so I'm just going to address this, even though I know, like, I haven't actually seen any conservative. Actually, that's not even true. Conservatives are going to claim this is censorship. Absolutely. They're going to claim this is like conservative censorship or something. This is once again just an example of personal responsibility. Donald Trump agreed to the terms of service, just like everyone else who uses the social media platform. And Donald Trump should have taken personal responsibility and followed TOS. That's it. Like, so much of this just comes down to personal responsibility. Trump should have taken personal responsibility, honestly, for losing the election. And he should have taken personal responsibility when it came to what he was posting on his account. So now he's been permanently banned on Facebook and Instagram. And I'll be honest, I don't know how I feel about that. With him getting banned permanently, I feel like that might be a little, like, quick, a little irrational. I mean, first, Facebook and Instagram, Facebook and Instagram are going to lock his account until after Biden's inauguration. But then they just went on to permanently ban him. I want to fact check this. Hold on. Hold on, I may have been wrong. Okay, no, I was wrong. I need to correct myself immediately then. Yeah, I was wrong. Trump's only banned on Facebook. Still, it's still an indefinitely banned, and it's still going to be at least until he's no longer president. So no, he has not been. I'm sorry, he has not been permanently banned. I had incorrect info here. He has not been permanently banned on Facebook or Instagram, but he has been indefinitely banned, and he's banned for at least the next 2 weeks until Biden's inaugurated. LOL, I'm sure Hunter does his research not. Okay. Trump's banned on Facebook. I know, and that really sucks too, because that's like where most of his base probably is at the end of the day. All the boomers are on Facebook. This is what I love about Hunter. He admits when he is wrong. Well, thank you. It's because I try my hardest to put facts over feelings. Indefinitely can mean permanently. Yeah, I know. Let's pull up Discord and get Carissa on here. If she's ready. Him being banned on Facebook is bad. I don't like their decision to ban him necessarily. I don't know. I want to like think about it more and look a little more into it before I give like a full-blown like commentary or opinion on it. But I'm definitely skeptical. I feel like it may have been a little quick. All right. Now, I am not sure. Hunter, how would you compare the BLM and the Trump supporters? Carissa's going to come on here. We're going to talk about that together in a second. Careful, guys, not to be spamming in chat, please. Why does this have so many dislikes? Because a bunch of pussies are triggered by facts. They're literally snowflakes who can't stand being out of their safe space, so they dislike. If we want to have a conversation about how these companies are too big and their platforms are integral to our notion of free speech, fine. But Trump getting banned is just not that concerning. I do think that these conversations these platforms have a lot of power, but I think that saying that they're integral, that they're like a component to our notion of free speech is just, there are other places to communicate. I think that getting banned from the internet, you could argue that. But banned from one social media platform or even like all of them, I mean, then there's Parler, then there's other places you can go also. I'm not saying it's perfect, but Hunter is so stubborn and blind. Dude, shut the fuck up. You just don't like that I'm not validating your delusional bullshit anymore. Go suck your uncle's dick. All right. Oh yeah. Well, I was going to bring this up too, but yeah, we all know about the fact that they found pipe bombs there yesterday as well. So another thing that's been going on, why am I not surprised? You see, the minute stuff like this happens, we have a few different like responses from conservatives. We have some people that are like have some level of principle that are like, yeah, this is bad. We're going to condemn this. This is not good. Stop doing this, please. So there are some people like that, which, okay, better than other people. Get the dislikes to 69. You know what? If the dislikes get to 69, I won't even be mad. Now, can you stop distracting me, twat? You Twitch chat and YouTube chat. I love you both. So there are also some Trump people that are now trying to cope further, which is what they do best, contorting reality. And that is, now they're lying and saying that it was Antifa. It wasn't Trump supporters, guys. You know, it was just Antifa. That was the conspiracy. You see, it was Antifa. They were the ones who Carissa will be on here soon. Let's call her up. Okay, output. Yeti. So Trump supporters quickly jumped into blaming fucking Antifa and lying that it was Antifa. And again, this was fact checked so quickly. One of the posts shared was actually from Lynn Wood, the guy who has now been banned from Twitter as well. And he showed this picture that it came from some Antifa website. The rumor that supporters of the Antifa movement. And like, no, it literally was just from the website. An Antifa website that, Hey.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish your point.
Can everybody hear Carissa okay? Do I need to turn her up? Let's see. Try talking now.
Can you guys hear me?
Turn your mic up just a little more.
All right. I'm on my phone right now because Willie's is still up.
That's fine.
Does that help?
Yeah, you sound really clear.
Perfect.
I thought it sounded a little more clear than your buzzy mic.
B mic.
The B movie mic. But yeah, this this rumor was stoked just because a picture of Antifa came from an Antifa website. Carissa, remember what I was saying earlier? That's like saying that YouTube is behind something because the video came from YouTube. Like,
it's really dumb.
it came from an Antifa website that was actually keeping track of neo-Nazis, not the other way around. And then the other one, and I was going to talk about this, we heard about the XR Vision firm or something that had confirmed through facial recognition that some people who were Antifa had infiltrated the Trump rally in DC. But guess what?
Right.
It was false. Oh, and I was even going to talk about this on stream today. I was going to explain, like, yeah, I mean, we were even saying, remember, Carissa, how if people, like, I'm sure there were some people from Antifa or whatever, like, other groups that snuck in or took advantage of the like civil unrest at the time.
Right.
But
I don't even think like when it comes down to it, it really even matters because like predominantly it was the people on the right, and it's like so obvious given Trump's response to them, as well as like the right's absolute ferocity about everything with like the police response and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, even right here, XR Vision, they denied the report. And then they said they did not identify anyone associated with Antifa. Rather, the company said two of the individuals were associated with two known Nazi organizations. So no, and not only was it not Antifa, not only was this story false that I saw like on Twitter yesterday, trending all over the place, but it was actually the opposite. It was Nazis there, not Antifa members. So just want to clear up that misinformation there. But now we have Carissa on, and we already have some people, Carissa, asking about how does this compare to BLM? Does it compare to BLM? And then we also had somebody that was asking about the 25th Amendment being used against Donald Trump, and I was hoping you could help explain like whether that's realistic or not.
Right. So I'll start off with the 25th actually first, just because it's a little easier. Pence has actually already said he does not want to use the 25th Amendment. This actually just came out. He said that, and I honestly was expecting this. This really wouldn't make much sense for his political future. So Nancy Pelosi already said that she would start impeachment process. So that's most likely going to start tomorrow or whenever Congress convenes again.
So they're trying to keep Trump from not holding office again in the future, right?
Right. So this way he would potentially be able to go to jail, and he would not be able to run in the future. He would be barred from office.
I doubt that he's going to go to jail.
They're actually, it seems like there are talks.
Is it really likely? Because I feel like remember it was like lock Obama up, lock Hillary up.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone wants to lock the person they don't like up.
Yeah, no, he's actually talking about pardoning himself.
Can a president even do that?
You can, but then I think there's a way for Congress to override that. I know like future presidents, I think Ford pardoned Nixon. But I think there might be some loopholes if a president decides to pardon himself, which honestly in his case might be the smartest move for him at this point. He has over 4,000 lawsuits against him right now.
Damn.
So
yeah.
But I guess to get on to the BLM versus the Capitol, I think there are two
I hear Willie
ways.
Coughing. Sorry.
I know. That's Willie in the background.
Well, let me just really quickly give a quick rundown of just what happened, though. Is with just everybody, like we knew right away there were going to be comparisons to BLM compared to this. And I think there are some comparisons that are worth looking at a little bit, like how the police response compared to this versus other BLM protests. But yeah, I mean, people are trying to compare this, and it really does. I know to me seem like apples to oranges. But go ahead, Carissa. Sorry, please explain.
You're good. I completely agree. So I think the ways that it's valid to compare is when you're dealing with people's perception of both of them. Like, for example, Trump's issue with BLM, he said, was not their cause, but rather the violence of the minority of
Mm-hmm.
BLM. So he didn't really ever address their cause. He just completely discredited their entire movement because of the violence. So if he's okay with doing that,
Mm-hmm.
then it would follow that he would be able to decry the violence of what happened yesterday.
Which
He
he
was
now
asked to do
did, just like
right.
but it really looked like more of a PR move.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And even from like what he said yesterday, right when everything was happening, it was very obvious that it seemed to me much more his anger seemed, or his at least reaction seemed to be much more motivated by the intentionality of the movement rather than the violence involved.
Right.
So I think in that respect, it's pretty fair
To compare
but
Trump's response to it.
right.
Yeah, I
But
mean that's true because Trump didn't even give any validation to the actual cause behind BLM, which was
right.
systemic racism and police brutality. And then when it came to this, well, yeah, he was just so quick to condemn it just for the violence. And then when it comes to this, he's like, well, let's look at the cause behind it. Suddenly, it's a complete double standard.
Right, exactly. So like,
And conservatives used to pretend to get mad about double standards, actually.
If individuals were to condemn both, but say, hey, I'm okay with the BLM movement, I'm just not okay with the rioting, I think it's totally okay for them to be like, to like condemn what we saw yesterday, but still be okay with like the MAGA movement. I
Right.
think that is consistent. But what I'm seeing a lot on social media is people saying that if you were silent about BLM, then you have no right at all to speak out against what happened yesterday. And that's kind of my issue with that framing, is that number one, it's a logical fallacy. That specifically is whataboutism, where they discredit an argument just because you didn't apply that argument the exact same way to a different situation. And that does not actually discredit the argument. It's kind of like an ad hominem, where it's like, I understand that's how you feel, but that's more of an argument against you than actual argument, right?
Because it's just invoking a fallacy.
Right. It's totally fallacy. Also, I would not say that the BLM protests and yesterday were a one-to-one comparison. Number one, the BLM protests were much more, widespread. Even like, and this even goes for like the police involvement. I think a lot of people are like wondering why there were more arrests for BLM versus yesterday. And it's like, it's hard to make that judgment. We can't really expect one-to-one comparison because they were different situations. They were more spread out rather than localized.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of hard to make those comparisons anyway, because you're right. There's just how the police are going to respond on like federal ground versus riots in the streets. That's just going to vary so much. So yeah, I think you're right that when the left is sort of, or not really the left, but when a lot of liberals are comparing the two by two, it's just not it can sometimes work to get a point across, I think, but overall, like if you really want to get into it, it's not really a very fair comparison because so much nuance goes into how they handle each situation.
Exactly, you're right. And I think even you also have to look a little deeper as well. It doesn't make sense to get mad at people for like being silent about anything violent. There's murders that happen all the time that people don't actually like say anything about. So you can't be like, if you're silent about it, you approve of it. That's just not how it works.
That kind of plays into the silence is being complicit bullshit.
Right, right. Also, I think this really does bring in the motivation. While rioting and stuff is not good, you do have to look at the motive, because motives really do play a role.
And I also think it's not it doesn't even just play a role, but it also, by looking at the motive, that can help us figure out how to stop future riots from happening.
Exactly. And that's kind of what we see,
because they are bad
now. Right.
I mean, of course, I don't want, like, it is dumb. I don't want business, like private small businesses, to be burned to the ground or whatever. Like, I think that shit's bad, but you're right. We have to look at the motivation behind it in order to even come to the conclusion on how to fix it.
Exactly. And what you really saw a lot with the BLM movement were people rioting. They felt like the system was not recognizing them, that they were not getting justice in the system, the same justice that white people were getting. It was much more of a social equality movement and attempting to get the system to treat people equally. It was almost like a cry out to get noticed, to have equal treatment within the system. Right. And then on the flip side,
the Trumpers,
for Trump supporters, the Trumpies, they've been heard for months. They've been heard. Their concerns have been validated. There have been numerous investigations. There have been, like, Georgia recounted twice. There's been so many things that have given credence to their concerns, and they just wanted to completely subvert the entire system and attempt a coup, right?
Right.
So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Again, it goes back to, like, just like how murder or riot, or like even just like stealing something, is not the same as looting. What BLM was doing is not the same thing as insurrection and storming the Capitol building and putting bombs in the city. It's just not the same thing at all.
Like what Nick Fuentes said. He was like, when BLM protests, it's called a protest, but when we do it, it's called insurrection. Yeah, bitch, because what you did was actually, like, attempting that. I don't know. I think you're completely right that it's like, with one side, we're seeing one group, BLM, which are they're demanding recognition within the system and equality within the system, but these people are raiding the Capitol because they don't like the results given to them by the legal system already.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
It's just, yeah, I agree. I completely understand where you're coming from there, and you're right. It really is apples to oranges.
Yeah, and I think it also, you have to look at how to solve the issue. I think you touched on that earlier. A lot of right-wingers for BLM, they would completely ignore the issue that these people were fighting for, and they would just focus purely on, they're rioting, they're doing this, and that was what was covered in the media substantially. So if you, like, kind of went along with that, that was time that you could have been speaking about proactively preventing riots from happening in the future, by making things actually equal. But on this side of
figuring out why people are going out there in the first place.
Right. This side of it, that's already been done, and equality has already been achieved, and, like, law and order has already been achieved.
Trump's video, actually, that he just released, that we went over like 15 minutes ago, he even said, we tried every legal avenue. Like, he acknowledged that they went through every legal avenue, and they did. They went through the legal process. They didn't like it, so then they went to throw a temper tantrum in the Capitol building. Yeah,
and that's honestly, it's interesting. That's why a lot of BLM protests are actually about getting their voices into government, so they can be able to be part of that system, and to actually be able to have a voice in government for their community, to make it more equal. That was like, and that's what Trump already had. Like, he was literally the president. He had so many options at his disposal, and the country, like, exhausted all of their legal options to get him reelected.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and it's, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you're right. It really doesn't compare too much. I mean, people are also making comparisons with the girl that was shot yesterday, and then compared to like people, like certain people's responses when it was like George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or anything. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I think there could be a similarity. I think we do need to really wait for more information to come out. I do think that if she did not pose a lethal threat,
It would have been
then that was
yeah.
wrong,
Right.
And I think that's really important to be consistent on that. Like, even storming the Capitol, like, unless you have a weapon or are pointing a weapon at someone, that's not lethal, lethal force.
But I also think the situation is so different. It's like you're arresting a guy who may have used a counterfeit $20 bill, and then you kill him, or as opposed to like there's an angry mob storming the Capitol building.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a different situation. I'm actually more interested too in like what's going to come out of the police investigation, because there are a lot of questions that are being raised, like why are police officers taking selfies with the intruders? Like, all these things are
right. It seems really weird.
Why did they remove the barricades? So a lot of these like questions are up in the air, and I think as we get more information, it's going to become clearer and clearer, and hopefully we can get a motivation.
Right. I completely agree. All right, Carissa. Well, thank you so much. And
I'm gonna go ahead and put Willie to bed.
I see some people. I see some people down here saying Carissa seems really smart, which you are correct in that assessment. You can follow her Twitter right down below. It's in my description on YouTube. I think it should be on Twitch too. But yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, love. I'll talk to you soon.
I love
you.
Thank you,
Everyone.
Oh, there was an actual sedition, and people were trying to call this a peaceful protest. All right. Let's see. I think that covers the majority of our topics for the day. Well, let's go ahead and find out if there's any current news. Just really quickly. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. A U.S. Capitol police officer has died following the pro-Trump rally. The police, and these are the people who apparently back the blue. This should be so this is so telling to that every conservative motto, everything they claim to stand for, just goes out the window when it comes to Trump. He's now the 5th person to die as a result of the day's violence. 1 woman was shot and killed, and 3 others suffered medical emergencies. Let's see what happened. They got into the building. Doors to the house were being locked shortly after the house floor was evacuated. Wait, we know that he's resigning. Where's the... Huh. Well, that's really sad. That's a bummer. CNN, really, Hunter? Dude, would you go suck a cock, please? I searched Capitol News. It was the thing that came up about him, a police officer that died. Fuck off. And also, just if something comes from CNN doesn't just instantly mean it's false. Just so you know that. Like, I don't just look at something that comes from... Like, if I got something that came from Breitbart, I would probably laugh at that fact that it came from Breitbart, yeah, but I wouldn't just say, oh, well, it came from Breitbart, and that doesn't matter. Like, if CNN said the sky is blue, would you be like, well, it's fake news? Like, stop. You sound like a deranged lunatic. All right, guys, well, I appreciate everybody who tuned in today, and I appreciate the nice raid I got on Twitch. That's really cool. all the love and support today is making me want to do some more live streams. So thank you for that, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in to today's stream. Sorry if it seemed a little disorganized, but I thought this was pretty fun. Lots of OMG, is this profanity? Yes. Anti-CNN knee-jerk morons. Hey, really quick, funny thing about the anti-CNN... Well, not funny. Again, lack of better words. But some journalists were actually like threatened yesterday, and someone told them that they were going to crack their skull in because they thought they were CNN just because they were reporters. It's like all the proof and more that you need that like Trump's words specifically have consequences and Trump's actions have consequences. But anyway, thank you so much for everybody who tuned in, for everyone who subscribed and followed me on Twitch and on YouTube. Appreciate the support. And I will be back soon, because I don't want you guys to forget